The declaration was signed 22 hours ago.
Really?
Hi, guys. I hope you're doing well. I know it's the middle of the day and we probably won't have that many people jump on right now, but thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And please continue to pray for Western North Carolina, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, and Tennessee. I had the distinct pleasure Sunday morning at 3:45 a.m. of reaching out to Virginia, West Virginia, and the emergency management there told me that they were good. They probably wouldn't need anything until Monday or Tuesday. Then I reached out to Kentucky through one of my military connections. She was able to get me several directors at the state level. And the state said, VOAD director Bill Eichler said, Pike County, Kentucky was hit terribly hard. They need you. So I reached out to Nee Jackson there, who was the emergency management director. I explained to him what we've been doing in Western North Carolina and how Western North Carolina Strong has been adamantly working with these nonprofits, and all the ones that we work with have been vetted. And the fact that we could bring people in to help them through this first week and then support them from the back end of it, shipping things from Western North Carolina and handling logistics. So it was pretty amazing to see all of these people join together from these different orgs that's been in Western North Carolina. And let me define one thing. I was at dinner last night and I was approached, and the lady said to me, why are you taking supplies from Western North Carolina and sending them to other states? And by the way, this is Miss Mary Rayna. She is a boots on the ground grassroots gal that has been instrumental in Western North Carolina. And fortunately, our paths crossed, and she went with me to Kentucky. And when we got to Kentucky, they snatched her up in public health. And so she went to public health. So in a little bit, she's going to explain to us what public health needs are in Kentucky. But back to, we are not taking supplies from our families in Western North Carolina. There are phases to a disaster, and we are in phase 1 in Kentucky. So therefore, the supplies that are going there are excess supplies that we had here in Western North Carolina. And those are the supplies that are being sent forward. So it was a blessing that everyone held on to those supplies and that now they're able to use them. So that's great. And I hope that answers any questions. And if you have any questions throughout this process, please, email me at ann@wncstrong.com. It's just easier than my Mountain Alliance and Mission, but I'm going to have Trey put my email for Mountain Alliance and Mission at the bottom of the screen. So you'll have it on there as well. And I'll look into that and I'll answer your questions as they need to be answered. So to tell you a little bit about Kentucky, I'm going to actually use my phone because I couldn't remember all the stats that Mr. Ray Jones, Judge Ray Jones, gave me in Kentucky, and Nee Jackson, the emergency management director there. And so I had pulled them up last night and was looking at them. I'm telling you, Pike County has been hit with their share of disasters over the years.
Oh, yes.
And it's crazy to think that that little place, and it's beautiful, guys. I don't know if you've been to Eastern Kentucky. I've spent a lot of time close to Fort Knox and Louisville area, but I really hadn't spent that much time in the eastern part of Kentucky.
Me either.
And it was gorgeous.
Yep.
The mountains are just beautiful there.
And the community,
Oh,
the families, they really stick together. So it was very cool to see.
yeah, it was nice. It was really nice to see that. Let me get in here.
While you're looking for that, Ann, I just wanted to emphasize again about supplies coming out from Western North Carolina. Western North Carolina is in a transition right now, and there are several orgs that are actually dissolving and moving on. There's distribution sites that are closing down because in my opinion, I would say Western North Carolina is pretty much in phase 3.
Yes.
We're focusing on rebuilding now that President Trump has come in and advocated for Western North Carolina. So just to emphasize Ann's point, these were items that our distribution centers are actually closing down, and they wanted them to be put to good use. And so the families, our neighbors in Pikeville, Kentucky, needed those items. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that we could help. And unfortunately, we learned, what to do and what not to do in the beginning of Helene. After going into Pike County, Kentucky, they've had so many disasters. So let me give you some info on them. Over the past 20 years, the county has had 43 disasters declared. 43 in the past 20 years. Kentucky has had 67 federally declared disasters since 1953, with 32 of those occurring since 2000.
Mm.
That is just unreal to me.
It is.
So these people just keep getting hit, one hit, one hit, one hit, one hit, and they're resilient. These are resilient people.
Yeah.
And our North Carolinians, excuse me, are just as resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And, so none of these organizations left North Carolina and went to Kentucky.
Right.
They only sent a few forward and they left several in the rear. So all the supplies that we took again were supplies that were no longer needed in Western North Carolina. And we thank everyone from all the organizations as far as Southeast Georgia. We had Texas, Oklahoma, Utah that pushed forward this week along with our local orgs in the state. And we have those partners listed below. And we just say thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you to everyone. And thank you for stepping up to help meet the needs in the great state of Kentucky. And we have orgs that are working in West Virginia and Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy about that. But it's just even the organizations that we work with are supplying needs in West Virginia and Virginia. So that's really good to see. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad we have unity going forward. And it's something that hadn't been seen before is nonprofits actually working together. Yeah. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. So
because we can accomplish more and make more of an impact when we're working together.
Absolutely. 100%. And it is growing pains. Every bit of this is growing pains. We've never done this before. I mean, we're still learning, going into the next phase in Western North Carolina. There's going to be mistakes made. Mm-hmm. But I do want to follow up on a few things that Mountain Alliance Mission had going on heading to Kentucky that I got calls on last week that were finished. So we had that group in Zionville, North Carolina, in Watauga County. The culvert had been put in, and I got a call on Friday night before the storms came in on Saturday. Went up there, got boots on the ground, and realized, wow, this culvert should have never been placed because it was causing this creek that turned into a river to split. And that's on WNC Strong. I did a live, and that's on Mountain Alliance and Mission on Facebook. I did a live, and I shared it to both of those. I got confirmation on Wednesday that the young mom with the two kids who had been cited by the Department of Transportation, that was taken away. And a church came and pulled the culvert out. So we were able to remedy that. And thanks to Miss Nancy with our grassroots, that Nancy Casper, that helped with that. I'm sorry, Kelly Casper. Forgive me. I've got so many names in my head right now. But Kelly Casper, thank you so much for reaching out to us. And they helped. Kelly actually facilitated the camper for the young mom and two kids. And now we're looking at hopefully getting them in a mobile home on their property. So their 100-year-old home was condemned, and they do have their property. So that's a blessing. And so this young mama and two kids we're going to be able to take care of. We have a terrible situation I made aware of 2 weeks ago. A family from North Carolina, they lost everything. Mom, dad, and two teenagers. They received a camper. The camper was stolen, set on fire.
Oh, my gosh.
And so they lost everything again. So I'm working with a grassroots group out of Franklin, North Carolina, Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, friends of our president's family that have been instrumental in facilitating a camper coming for this family. So we're going to help get that position for them. And just so happened, the week before I got the phone call, I received a car. I met a gentleman and was like, I want to donate my mom's car. And I know that's what my mom would want to have happened with her car. So we have it sitting in Hickory waiting for the family. We already have the family. So we're going to be able to bless them with a camper and a car. So I love days like that. Mm-hmm. It makes life fun in this world. We see a lot of pain and we see a lot of lost hope. But what we want to do is help with that pain, reach out to resources that can help. And remember, just let us know if you're struggling because we have those resources that we can provide for you. And we want to continue fostering hope. And with the rebuild coming and with every step through this, you're not alone. And we're going to be here for you. And now we have all these orgs that are joined together that we have so many resources now, and it's amazing. So I'm excited about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to update you guys on Mountain Alliance and Mission. I think we're good. Have several things going into Kentucky tomorrow. Warrior Clan and Troy Miller, Operation Rising Sun. I said Troy again. There is a Troy Miller, but he was a Marine that worked with Savage Ops. Sorry about that, Tommy Miller. Tommy Miller.
We haven't had any sleep.
No,
week.
we haven't. We're a little sleep deprived. But Tommy Miller with Operation Rising Sun and Warrior Clan, Mr. Bob, are heading up with some people from down east to make some deliveries in Pike County on Wednesday.
Awesome.
So we've listed on this page what their needs are. And then I'm going to turn it over to Mary. So she's going to tell us what the public health needs are.
So I'll share some stories to emphasize the need for what public health in Pike County is requesting. So if you guys can imagine, when a flood hits, everything is wiped away. And if you are on any type of medications, prescription medications, can you imagine being in your home and you're on heart medication or diabetic medication and you no longer have those meds, along with if you were using a cane, a walker, even a bathroom seat for your shower, everything was washed away. So really quickly, there's two stories that I want to share to emphasize the need that Pike County has in regards to medical assistance. There was two individuals in a shelter that we visited on Monday that had lost all of their medication. One was a diabetic patient and the other one was a seizure patient. We were able to work with Pike County, the Public Health Department. The director, Tammy Riley, is remarkable. She was on top of things. She quickly responded to these two patient needs, and we worked with their pharmacy to get them their medication delivered to this shelter. One of the major requests that we have coming from Pike County Public Health Department is their families lost all of their larger medical equipment. And we're talking mostly canes. Canes are in high demand right now, which out of all of the medical equipment they need, canes are the cheapest. They cost around $15 a piece. Canes, wheelchairs, nebulizers, blood pressure monitors, diabetic glucose monitors, the things that our families had in their homes that they lost in the flood. So if you have access to any larger medical equipment, such as canes, wheelchairs, blood pressure monitors, diabetic glucose monitors, nebulizers, any of those items, please reach out and we will get you connected to the public health. Now, any medical supplies that go into Pikeville, Kentucky, if you have any questions at all, please reach out and we can provide direction. We were able to provide 200 vials of insulin for Pike County because that is a need that they had. But for legal purposes, anything prescription, which insulin is, has to go to a separate location for legal purposes. So if you have any questions on providing medical supplies or even insulin, please reach out and we'd be able to provide direction. But they were phenomenal. Pike County Health Department was very responsive to their families' needs. They went above and beyond to get their families the prescriptions that they lost in the flood. So it was an honor to work alongside them and partner with what their families needed.
Yeah, they were. They made us feel like family, and the hospitality was incredible, even during their time of need.
Yeah.
And we're very thankful that we've landed in Pike County. I think it felt like that's where we should have been.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't think it was by chance, and nothing on Virginia or West Virginia at the time that I called, because I started calling at 3:45, and I think I spoke to the emergency management director at Pike County, Nee Jackson, at 9:45, and pretty sure United Cajun Navy were boots on ground between 14 and 15 hours. It could have been 13. And then we were boots on ground within 17 hours. And then the other orgs literally started making deliveries that day,
Yep.
you know.
Right on
And
Monday.
so we're thankful that we were able to do that for those people.
And it was so incredible to see the love, because people in Pikeville acknowledged what Western North Carolina has gone through, and to see the love that they felt, the love and the support that they felt from Western North Carolina was remarkable. It gives me chills.
It was. And when I was taking calls from the command center, the communication center, emergency management, and they have a system because they've been through so many disasters. They actually have, I hate to say down to a science, but they know. And it's just they haven't seen the scope before.
Yeah.
You know, Pike County is 789 miles.
Yeah.
And, you know, Helene was the size of Belgium.
Yep.
So, and this was another question I got yesterday compared to Helene. On a scale of 1 to 10, Helene is a 10, Pike County is a 6, is what we settled on agreeing to. And, you know, I can't speak for West Virginia and Virginia, but I know that it's terrible.
Yeah.
I know that they're getting some great help from Western North Carolina
Yeah.
people, and then those all over the United States that are helping, those all over the world that are actually donating because they see the needs that this weather has caused. And I was reading earlier that we may have another vortex coming in. And I think right now, I don't want to misspeak. I'm going to have to Google it to make sure before I even say a word about it. But I think 23 hours ago, the declaration was signed. So that's a blessing. So now they've got the declaration going, and now that's when things really start happening. So it was wonderful to see the National Guard.
Yep.
I mean, they were boots on the ground day one before we
one.
got there. They were helping do rescues. The wildlife for the state, they helped do rescues. They were doing side by sides while we were there. The state police was making deliveries and assisting, and you know, it was great to see the camaraderie and how they came together. And we could really appreciate that.
Yep. State troopers, I loved working with them.
Oh my goodness.
They were going out to individual homes, taking out heaters, food, water for people that couldn't get across. I mean, Pikeville had the same issue that we had with broken bridges, where people could not leave their home because bridges were destroyed. So working alongside with the state troopers and having them go directly to the families was awesome. And I loved their hearts. They were all about the families. There was no ego involved. They just wanted to make for sure that their families got what they needed.
They did. And so much of it was like, why are y'all here? Why did you come? You have your people. I was like, we have our people taken care of. We haven't left them. Like, it was only Mary and I from Western North Carolina Strong and Mountain Alliance Mission. So we, you know, I'm so thankful that we met each other. And I'm so thankful that Public Health utilized her. And Miss Tammy is amazing. But there is right now, the death toll rises as of 23 hours ago. Governor Beshear's, there's 21 deaths in the state of Kentucky, and that's horrible. I had the opportunity of meeting Governor Beshear's while I was there. He's a really great guy, really cares about his people. I met Mr. Rocky Atkins, who is the advisor to the governor, and he was just a great guy. And he actually had on an Appalachia Strong sweatshirt that he had bought to help a fundraiser for Western North Carolina.
Oh, I love it.
So that was amazing. That was amazing to have that connection and to know that our brothers and sisters there supported us and still support us, even what they're going through. And I had the experience of talking with a group from Southeast Georgia. And I think he said that day one or week one of Helene, they started with one church, and within the hours they had 42 that still supports Western North Carolina from Southeast Georgia. And that was amazing to hear that. And he said that they took a load up. I don't remember where, but somewhere in Western North Carolina this week. And they said to him, are you guys going to help in West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky? And he said, we are. And they said, you know what? We don't need this load. Let it support those people. Now, guys, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Love it. Oh,
so.
And you know, in the status of our world, we had wildfires and horrible fires in California, wildfires in Montana, Wyoming, You guys are watching what's happening on the East Coast. Florida, Western North Carolina, now Kentucky and Virginia and West Virginia. We need each other. It is truly, I mean, in Western North Carolina, it brings me to tears. We have seen the American people rally together to support other fellow Americans. And if we're not in this together, I think that's why we were so strong about answering the call for Kentucky. We were not, as Ann said, it wasn't abandoning Western North Carolina. We're back home. But it is about supporting the American people, supporting each other. We need each other, y'all. We need to rally together and not be divided. We need each other to be in support of one another.
Yeah, it's about unity and humanity.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
the bottom line. And I am proud to say I'm from North Carolina, and I'm a North Carolinian, and that we did answer the call for Kentucky. And I will go back. I think Mary's going to go back as well. I'll go back probably the end of this week and be there for a few days. I won't be there for a whole week again. United Carolinas Calvary, Joel Amick and Callie Farmer were boots on ground with us the whole entire week as well. Joel did a lot of consulting with the emergency management, and we just were their hands and their feet and said, how can we assist you? Please let us know and we'll get you what you need. And it was amazing because we created some friendships that are going to last for the rest of our lives. And I'm so thankful. And I just want to say thank you to Pike County Emergency Management. And I'm not going to do last names because that's hard, but Mr. Jackson, Emergency Management, CJ, Judge Ray Jones, thank you so much, even though your phone number's throughout Kentucky. And everybody knows him. So bless his heart, his phone just kept going off. Mr. Fabian, Mr. Doug Tackett, Mr. Jeff that was with us in the comm center, Mr. Tim who printed out maps for me because y'all, it was so hard because I didn't know those places and how to spell them. And they were just so kind with us, just answering the questions for us to help us understand their county. And that was so nice. And let's see. And then everyone at the arena, Larry and Josh and Jamie and Tyler and just all those people. You just have no idea how much we appreciate how kind you were to us. And we look forward to supporting you throughout the next phases of what they're going through. And we just want to thank you all. And please, whatever your heart's desire is, support those organizations that you want to support. Continue, because guys, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I think that's what we all are realizing. But continue to pray for Florida, California, Kentucky, West Virginia, Western North Carolina. And have I missed anybody?
I think that's what's facing the devastation right now. Wyoming and Montana had those fires out there. I think going back to your point about appreciating Pike County and Pikeville welcoming us, they had such humility. They wanted as much support as they could get. And in a world where there could be so much division, or even division among organizations, as Ann stated, to see the unity of organizations coming together and to see the unity of it doesn't even matter if you're not in this region, but your support for human souls and putting yourself in the shoes of what if this was you? What if in an instant you had lost everything? What if you lost your medication? What if your dad who was on medication lost it? Would you be concerned? Would you be worried? So to see the unity that we need to be unified. It's not about this org or this state. It's about unity for our fellow Americans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's great watching it and see it happen. But I will tell one story and then we're going to get off of here. I had a lady that I received her call in emergency management and her bridge was gone. Her private bridge was gone. We pulled it up on the map. They confirmed it. And that was really nice too, because they could confirm things to us because we weren't from there. Right. And if they hear us talking, they'd look and see the address and they would give us a thumbs up, about what's going on, because we don't want to waste resources. We don't want to push people out and jeopardize their health in helping someone and, not really knowing what they're going into. So that was really nice that they were right there readily available to help us. And so I told her, I said, we're going to get you propane and a buddy heater for your heat. We're going to get you food. We're going to get you water, and we're going to get you cat food and dog food. And she said, can I tell you what kind of dog food? And I said, no, ma'am, you can't, because I can promise you one thing. I've got a bougie dog, and if she gets hungry enough, she's going to eat. I don't care what kind of dog food it is. It might take a few days, and you can feed her some of your stuff, but she's going to be fine. So that was cute.
Yeah.
Because, they don't know. But it was great. And just thank you all for your support. Please continue to pray for all these states. Mm-hmm. And we look forward to updating you again, probably next week. And thank you for what you continue to do here in North Carolina for Western North Carolina. You guys have a great evening and have a great rest of your week.